here we go, started another school year, unlike any other start of the school year. But as much as things are changing, as much as things seem unpredictable, there's one thing that is constant, and that is the quality of an unbelievable staff that we have in Mahomet Seymour school districts. Now you might say to yourself, well, is this going to be one of those happy kind of messages where everything's all perfect? Yes, it is. Why not? There's been enough where it hasn't been that lately, and I think we need this kind of message. But at the same time, what do you base that on? Is it because the state and the national recognition that this school gets? Is it because the people that move into this school district often, or this community, say it's because of the schools? Is it because of the 50 programs and clubs that we have K through 12 that are staffed by teachers that care about one thing, and that's giving those kids that are in those clubs and activities an excellent opportunity? Are we going to fail sometimes? Of course we are. But are we going to fail because we don't try? Because you don't try? No. That has been the one thing I have found in my 40 years here at Mahomet, that the staff at Mahomet Seymour School District tries to be excellent at everything. They don't want to leave any student behind, but have we? Probably. Apologize for that. They will. But they'll try to get it right. Now here we are in this great time of change, in this school district where, hopefully from the taping of this, in about a month we're going to start. We have a plan, hopefully. But the one thing I have learned is that the only way we can assure success for our students is through unity. You know the old saying, united we stand, divided we fall. But if we're divided, we're going to rob them of an opportunity for excellence. United, those students will get an opportunity maybe like none other. I have found that some of the very best opportunities comes from the very difficult of times. And assuredly, we are in that period of time. But it's that excellence as a staff that I believe will help Mahomet Seymour rise above all of it. I hope I live long enough to see what comes from this period of time of confusion and change. I think we're raising a generation here that will be instrumental in a better future, a brighter future for all of us. I would like to say this, that we have a choice here, and that choice of happiness. Now you might say, well, that's kind of a no-duh statement, Jim. Or you might say to yourself, you know, everybody would choose happiness, but I have found that not everybody does. A lot of times they choose to be miserable. They choose darkness in their life and anger. We have to overcome that. Happiness that I'm talking about isn't the kind of happiness that comes from going to Disney World or getting a Big Mac in my case. The happiness I'm talking about takes courage to have. When everything seems to have failed, when your days are the darkest, and there's absolutely nothing to seem to get up for that's good, you say, no, I'm going to practice being happy. And before you know it, the light comes at that end of the tunnel. You have opportunities you could never think of. And as you keep practicing that kind of attitude, from despair, lack of opportunity, comes happiness. And like Louis Armstrong says, it's a wonderful world. I'm looking forward to seeing this wonderful world and what our children at this present time are going to create. I've always said, no matter how dark the cloud, if you fly high enough, you'll find blue skies. But being united right now behind the plan that we have to implement our school, teachers and community, we owe that as adults to our children. We owe it to our children to unite so they will have the best opportunity for success in the future. Well, I've probably gone over my 3 minutes. Sorry. Thanks for listening. God bless all of you. I love you.
Hello, Bulldog Nation. During this pandemic and the things we're going through, I thought a lot about what we need to be focused on as we return to school, or something that looks like school. There were 3 words that I thought of, and they all start with F. And as a former school person, F's aren't really that great, but I think in this situation, these 3 terms, I think will get us through some very challenging times. And those 3 F words are flexibility, focus, and future. And first of all, with flexibility, we've never been through something like this ever in our lives. Now, some of our older generation have, but most of us have not. And as we go through these unsettling times, flexibility is critical. And flexibility is hard, because flexibility requires some give and take. And I think as we get older as adults, that give and take becomes a little more challenging for us. But being flexible allows us to work together for the benefit of our children and our students. As principal of Sangamon School years ago, for 22 years, I saw lots of flexibility exhibited by our students, our staff, and our parents. I received a phone call one day that we had 220 first graders stranded at Scoville Zoo in a downpour, and they really had nowhere to go. But those teachers and those kids figured it out, and they were flexible, and they came back, and they had a good trip. They were a little wet, but that was one instance of where I saw flexibility in action. Our parents, we had parents at times that would drop children off on school holidays and off they'd go to work. And, by being flexible, either I or a teacher or the custodian at the school, we would find these children, we would get them back to where they belonged, and the parents and the school would work together with a lot of flexibility, and we would get things done. What we have to remember, too, is that this situation is going to change daily. And when the rules of the game change constantly, that causes more challenges as far as being flexible. But we can do this. I've seen it. I know we can do it. So let's be flexible, and I think we'll get to a happier chapter later this school year. Second F I thought of was focus. And it's no secret. We're all focused on the same thing, and that's our children and our students. And we want what's best for them each day. And if we take each day individually and focus on what we can do to make that child's day the best it can be, we're going to get through this. I also learned with focus that you can't change things that you can't control. And a lot of this right now, it's out of our control. This pandemic changes every day. So let's focus on the things we can, and let's focus on our children and our students. And again, they will be the beneficiaries of that focus. And finally, future. The good thing about this coronavirus is it will end. This is not going to last forever. And if we focus on the future and not directly what's in our faces each day, I think we can see a little bit more, with a little bit more clarity on how we can get to some brighter days ahead. The future's bright for our students, and I think that the challenges they've gone through these last several months are going to make them stronger students. They're going to make them stronger people, and we as adults, it's going to make us stronger too. So again, I hope that the beginning of school goes well. I pray for all of us, and I know that it'll go well. But again, if we can focus on flexibility, focus on what's most important, and that's our children, and focus on the future, I think we'll get through this, and we'll be better off in the long run. Thank you.